It's late, and you're driving home alone. You haven't seen another car for ages, so you speed up a little. You're exhausted, and you can't wait to get back to a warm bed, a glass of wine, and your cat, Tama. So you're zipping along when you enter a tunnel. This is a long one. The sodium vapor lights give everything a nice yellow, haunting tinge. Still no cars. You press your foot on the accelerator, glance at your speedometer. It says you're doing 140 kilometers an hour. You happen to be a math genius, and you know that is exactly 86.99 miles per hour. Fast, but hey, there's no cars, and it's late, and Tama's waiting. So here you are clipping along at a good pace when you hear something. Kong, kong, kong. Someone is knocking on the backseat window. It sounds like it's from outside. You do a quick turnaround and... Hey, this is Teresa Matsura, and you're listening to Uncanny Japan, the podcast about all the delightfully weird and more obscure nooks and crannies of Japanese culture. I hope you're safe and well, and if you need it, I'm sending you a big uncanny hug. Not uncanny like it's creepy or has extra limbs or anything, just uncanny as the name of the show. It's still a normal hug, but, with a vibe. Today I'm going to tell you about the urban legend of Turbo Granny and some offshoots and related, unsettling, and perhaps unintentionally funny creatures that you'll find in the wilds of Japan. Where were we? Oh yes. Kong, kong, kong. You do a quick look over your shoulder, and you see out the back window an old woman with a wrinkled face and long white hair. She's looking right at you. But what is really disturbing is that she's also running alongside your car. She's not on a motorbike or anything like that. She's really running. This, I hate to inform you, is Tabo Baba. In English, Turbo Granny. Right off the bat, remember last episode 160, where I tried to swoon you into falling in love with the Japanese language by telling you about water pigs and ocean rats? Well, I'm going to reverse all that now in one fell swoop with one of the most difficult, to me, and potentially dangerous parts of Japanese. I've gotten into trouble with this one. The word Oba-san means grandmother. Oba-chan is just a more familiar, cute way to say it. That's easy. Baba is even more familiar. It's like your kid talking about or to their grandmother. Affectionate, warm, endearing. Baba, can I have some ice cream? Everything is fine and dandy until I tell you about the word Baba. This pronunciation is extremely rude, disrespectful, and derogatory. It's like saying old hag or old bat. Baba, ice chodai. Hey, you old bat, give me some ice cream. Baba. Good. Baba. Bad. It works for Oji-chan, grandpa too. Gigi. Good. Gigi. Bad. This is why it's important to use and pay attention to those elongated vowels in Japanese. Both can be written B-A, but get your pronunciation off, and you're calling that sweet little lady giving you an extra bowl of rice at the restaurant a nasty old hag. Oh, speaking of long vowels, Oba-chan is grandmother, and Oba-chan is auntie or aunt. Japanese like to use both to address someone they don't know. It's friendly and it's better than hey you. Same for grandfather and uncle, Oji-san and Oji-san. These can be tricky too. A funny story. My father-in-law, in his late 70s at the time, mind you, was fishing one day and met another fisherman, and they got to be friendly with each other. Only this younger fisherman kept calling my father-in-law, who, I'll reiterate, was almost 80, Oji-san, grandfather, to which my father-in-law was greatly offended. Every day he'd come home all stressed out about it. Why doesn't he call me uncle? So always err on the side of making someone younger. All that to say, Tabo Baba is usually the rougher version. In English, it's translated as Turbo Granny. I mean, that really does sound cuter, but the real nuance is Turbo Old Hag. Anyway, so you've got this old woman running alongside your car. What happens next? Well, kind of nothing. She's just there running beside you and keeping up. Even though she's called Baba, she just looks like any old regular granny. No glint in her eyes, no mouth sneering ear to ear, no blood anywhere. Just a fast-moving elder, hoofing it at an incredible pace. When you speed up, she speeds up. When you slow down, she slows down. So this might make you think that if you stopped, she'd stop. Which makes you also think, since she just looks like anyone's grandmother, maybe all old women in Japan are actually turbo grannies, and we just don't know about it unless they're in that mode. There's a thought. You might have heard of Turbo Granny before, because she's also the name of a character in the manga and anime, Dandadan. I don't want to give anything away here, but she is first discovered in a tunnel. But the lore here in this story is that you shouldn't run from her, because she will catch you and then she'll curse you. But that's the manga anime version. In the urban legend, it sounds like she's mostly found in the tunnels and forests of Hyogo Prefecture. And there are stories from if she catches you, she'll do nothing at all, to if she catches you, she'll kill you, to if she passes you, you'll get into a car accident. I read in one place that she actually has a piece of paper stuck on her back that reads, Turbo. I can't stop laughing. Okay. So you see it as she runs past your car. Kind of like self-promotion, I guess. Turbo Granny goes by a couple of other names. Jetto Baba, Jet Granny, and Hyaku Kilo Baba, 100 kilometers Granny, indicating her speed. There's a funny video out there of the Kansai comedian Mitsukuni Daiso, who went on location to Mount Roko in Hyogo to film some kind of special or something. While he's recording on the bus, something suddenly zipped by the window at an inhuman speed. He's all, what's that? And then there's a loud bang as something hits the bus. He and his crew freak out and they stop and get out. There, on the front of the bus, is a muddy-looking handprint. Lots of bad acting here, where they're all surprised and scared, and what does it mean, and who did this? Daiso announces, it must be Tabo Oba-chan. Then he goes and he touches and licks the muddy handprint. He says, Doro sosu, Doro sauce. Yes, it was Turbo Granny. Doro sauce, or mud sauce, is a real condiment. It's what is left at the bottom of a barrel of Worcestershire sauce. It's very thick, dark brown, and spicy, and delicious. I don't know what it has to do with Turbo Granny. I'm sure it's something, or maybe they were just trying to start some new legend lore there. It is kind of funny, I guess. So you've got your Turbo Granny, and then there's your Hyper Grandpa, or Hypa GG. Not as much about him. Anyway, here, let's end with a handful of silly or horrifying variants of the Turbo Hag legend. There's one called Basuke Oba-chan, Basketball Granny. This one uses the kinder form of old woman, by the way. This sprightly little old lady likes to run up beside motorcyclists while she's, get this, bouncing a basketball. Of course, the writer is going to look over. They see the granny dribbling the ball full tilt, and what does she do? She passes the ball. What would you do? If you catch it, like your reflexes probably want you to do, you take both hands off the handlebars, swerve, and crash. If you don't go to catch it, it doesn't matter. She still just nailed you with a basketball, which will unbalance you and you'll crash. Here, I'd like to add my own piece to this urban legend to kind of round it out. If anyone out there is listening, I think it would be great if the only way to escape Basketball Granny is to shout at her, "Shoot!" She turns, looks forward, throws the ball like she's making a basket, and you hightail it out of there. Safe, no crashing. Another similar urban myth is Mikan Baba. Mikan are mandarin oranges, or mikan. So you run across her sitting on a mat in the middle of the forest. She's got some baskets full of mikan, and all around her are some sickles just laying there. Very Chekhov's gun-like. That should be your first clue to get the hell out of there. But if you don't leave and you do approach her, just make sure you don't make eye contact, because if you do, she will suddenly leap to her feet and book after you at unimaginable speeds. All the while, she's throwing mikan oranges at you. I know what happened to the sickles. Lost opportunity there. There's also Hopping Oba-chan. A hoppingu is a pogo stick. Does anyone know what a pogo stick is? Am I that old? So anyway, Pogo Stick Granny. You're driving along, minding your own business, when an old woman on a pogo stick lands right in front of your car. But an instant later, before you can slam on your brakes, she hops up and over your car. Gone. If you're not careful, you can crash. And let's not forget Bonetto Baba. A bonnet is the hood of the car, right? So this time you're on the highway trucking along, and all of a sudden an old grandmother from out of nowhere leaps onto the hood of your car and just latches on. Don't be startled. You'll get into an accident, which seems to be the theme here. It's recommended that you drive for 7 kilometers like that. Then you'll be okay. No word on what happens if you don't drive that far, and no word on if she climbs off or disappears after you do. Guess you just have to find out. That's all for today. One more thing before I go, though. I'd like to give a shout out to all the wonderful podcasts who have interviewed me in the past 6 months or so. There's the interview with me, of course, but really every single show and all their episodes are first rate with all kinds of great topics and guests. I'm really happy I was turned on to them, so do consider giving them a listen if you don't already. In no particular order, there's Monster Dear Monster, Loreman, Unspookable, Some Other Sphere, New Book Network, Haunted History, Japan Station, Fabulous Folklore, Tales from the Enchanted Forest, This is Horror, and Mission Spooky. Thank you all so much for having me on and talking with me. And it was in Mission Spooky's interview that just went out that the subject of Turbo Granny came up, and I was inspired to finish this episode. So this Turbo Granny is for you, Mission Spooky. Thank you for reminding me. Check out all the shows, and thank you for listening. And I will talk to you again in 2 weeks. Bye bye.